Hey guys, luckily that didn't take too long. Small hiccup with the vetoes, but we're good to go now. Solar and HyuN going to be playing out a best of 5 here in the losers match. We had some questions about some stuff in chat, but the one I wanted to address would basically be like, where's this guy? Scroll up. Okay, I don't remember how it was worded, but TLDR, like, what's going on this week? And we actually have quite a bit going on. We're not full stacked with the schedule. We're not casting every single day like we were leading up to the end of the month, but we are going to be trying to get the round of 8 out of the way. We got some WCS qualifiers on deck as well. We have quite a bit that we plan to be casting on BaseTradeTV, so buckle in and make sure to follow the channel if you're not already. We got some sub shoutouts to get caught up on too, but before we do any of that, got to quickly shout out the sponsors of the event as we get into this brand new best of 5. Of course, brought to you guys by TING, bttv.ting.com, the place to go if you're from the United States. And spawning here in the bottom right side, it is going to be the blue Zerg player. They're both doing the same thing, Solar.
In the top left, as the red Zerg, he is HyuN.
That's why you need the production tab right there.
When you notice that nothing's making that feel right. Okay, so they are doing different things though, ultimately. But it would have been very funny if they did the exact same thing. So one person goes for gas, one person doesn't. It's going to be a funny situation here, but it doesn't surprise me that they both did this. We saw HyuN being very aggressive in his best of 5 versus Snoot. So we haven't seen ZvZ in a while, but from what I recall, he does add in quite a few early pools. So to start off with a bang, I always like it. It just happens that the other person's starting off with a bang too.
Yeah, and before the bangs go off, quick shoutouts to Fab Francois 77, Nightmare 54, DJ Chris Spear, and a brand new sub coming in with Muffin Man. Do you know? Yeah, do you know the Muffin Man? I've heard that.
Thanks so much. Alright, so obviously the big difference is here. They have yet to scout each other, which is very funny, but I think they actually probably got the exact same scout with their overlords. But what's different is, of course, they don't know quite what attack it is. They realize the timing of the pools, but HyuN doesn't know that there's a hatchery down, so there's another gas down.
The initial scout like this, it does look similar. You don't know whether it's gases. You don't even know if there's a hatchery behind it, for goodness sake. But for HyuN, I mean, I like the Bailey Nest a lot. Even though Solar is going for the natural, maybe that'll get him ahead for now. But I feel like gas is going to win if it comes to an actual fight every single time.
So that's kind of where I am at too. Like, if this is a regular game for Solar, he has a lot of drones. He's probably getting like, enough queens. It is Frozen Temple, so whenever he can kind of calm things down, he'll have a relatively easy wall up at his natural. But that is like, you know, far away to get a wall off at his natural. So I like what he's doing right now, of course. He realized what's up. His Overlord scouts lack of a hatchery. He's trying to buy time. He's got to know speed finishes soon, and he might get a bad surround in his lings, but he's also got to buy time for that spine crawler on the top to finish. If he can get 2 queens on the ramp, I mean, that'd be fantastic, but it's asking for a lot.
He stuck those Bailings on the right side. I think so. I thought there's only the ones on the left side. So the queen on the ramp actually not so much in danger yet, but these Bailings need to be used very carefully. They have to stay away from the ramp for the time being because they don't want to get sniped. And normally you would use them to just wipe out the lings like this, but he's zoning with... It's so cool the way he's using this, but now he's going to try and push his way up the ramp. Unfortunately, Bailings do get target fired down by the queens. Spine Crawler trying to root itself, but lings take out enough of the queens. Is this enough damage for HyuN to follow through? There's more lings on the way, but no more Banelings.
I think Solar might just have had that perfect time right there. Like, his lings bought enough time, his queens got in position,
it seems like
and the spine claw is going to root itself. And there's not like, you know, if it's a 2-base all-in where there's only like 25 more lings. It's like 6 lings at a time. That's something that a couple of key units, like a spine crawler and a couple of queens, can deal with very well against.
Yeah, and it's 2 queens at a time as well, so they're going to be on that ramp again in just a moment. I mean, HyuN's hoping for time, but he's not really getting any. The spine crawler will be able to focus these down. It's got such range to it too, and this doesn't look like it's going to go well for HyuN.
Yeah. There was definitely a moment, like if his Banelings had morphed a little bit sooner and killed the lings, so he had more lings to follow up with.
I was gonna say if he had an Evo chamber he could drop, that might be a little bit different.
Oh, yeah. He's gonna target down that spine crawler. It's not getting all the Banelings, but it got enough.
That's interesting, because that wasn't bad control again. He was trying to hope that these Zerglings would bait in. So Solar, on one hand, great control with the hold position, and on the other, great from HyuN not to actually just throw them all away for nothing. Does get that Spine Crawler as well. Getting surrounded the Queens now. Maybe HyuN's found a way to make this work. The link count is certainly dwindling. There's some more on the way for Solar, but a Baneling still lives.
One of the Queen pops. This is like very reminiscent of like arena games.
It's so down to the wire with how expensive this defense has been for Solar. But I guess playing gasless, that's the money to make these queens. That's the money to make the Spine Crawlers.
Yeah, eventually he would. It was just that moment before everything was all together that was the scariest part.
Ooh.
He defends against that, and yeah, I think he should be able to win, but he did end up losing the Spine Crawler, which, I mean, that might have just been focus hard anyway, but losing the extra 2 queens is where things are really dicey, and this might be where Solar loses.
GG.
He loses.
So, I mean, like, I just want to put it, that was great control and absolutely well held by Solar, but I still stand by my statement. Like, I think Gas wins most times in these scenarios. But that was so close to looking like HyuN was going to actually lose. So, I mean, I don't feel confident backing up that statement. It's just, most of the time, we do see Gas be better than Gasless. I think, for me, the selling point would be actually if there was a wall of some variety down. Instead of lots of Spine Crawlers, maybe like the 2 Evo Chambers, and you choke the Queens in there. I don't know, but...
That was like Solar's next step if he was able to hold.
Right? It was always just barely not able to do it.
Yeah. But you could also argue, like, if he had his Spine Crawler not surrounded... maybe it doesn't go down quite as quickly. Or the Queens are on the ramp as opposed to the partial surround they had in that very last second. There's a lot of maybes.
Yeah.
You get 5 Queens and 10 Lings, and that's pretty hard to tear down with, 12 Lings and 4 Banelings. But anyway, very fun game.
Yeah.
So I feel like they might have all both been surprised, and they're kind of like, oh, that's how we're gonna play this.
Yeah. Frost up next. Just a note on this. I was hoping to have information about this today. I don't. Oh, well, quick big shout out goes to TLO hosting us for his viewers. Thank you so much. If you guys are joining us just in time for this ZvZ, we're in the losers match, I guess, to show all you new viewers what's going on. Currently down here with HyuN versus Solar. Then we got TLO's brother from another mother, Snoot, fighting against Bjorn in the winners match afterwards. All best of 5s, of course. Swap it in the next game. But my statement I was going to make a moment ago was that we are going to be having some giveaways with Ting, actually, in the near future. And the way they're doing it's kind of interesting. Jesse wants to do bracket prediction type things. So if you're good at guessing who's going to win games, if you happen to have a lot of luck winning partoofs because you're good at knowing that sort of stuff, ears to the ground, guys, because if you're from the United States, there's going to be some really cool giveaways for you. That's going to come a little bit later, of course. Spawning in the top left, he's currently down 1 game. Still early into this, best of 5. It's Samsung Galaxy Solar.
In the bottom right, as the Red Zerg, he is HyuN.
Of course, all games played versus Snoot are going to be on the North American server, but all games otherwise are going to be Korea, so you guys don't have to worry about players having unfair latency or anything like that. They are playing in their prime conditions.
Yeah. As prime can be as can be. Maybe a little late for some of these guys, but midnight's not too bad. It's actually 11, not even midnight.
Yeah, we're actually learning. This is so weird. So we've been talking to teams about Overwatch, and we're going to be a little off topic for a moment, guys, because no crazy openings this time. We've been talking to teams for Overwatch, and everybody in Overwatch wants to play so much later than everybody in StarCraft.
It's bizarre. It is so different.
Like, and I know someone else will be like, well, what does the Overwatch have to do with StarCraft? It doesn't, but it's just interesting seeing how incredibly different the time stuff is. Like, for Koreans, we assume they're okay playing until 2 a.m., right? And even then, that's pushing it. That's stretching it. Like, nobody really wants to play that long. But Overwatch people are like, no, can we start at 2 a.m.?
I feel like Overwatch is a very weird position where they're on the cusp of being the golden child of esports, so they are expecting a lot of money and sponsorships and stuff. But where they are right now is still at that point where, like, no, we have to play until 2 a.m. if we want to get money to continue being full-time, right? Because a lot of them still aren't full-time, too. So they have the jobs that they have to wait until 6 to play, so it's a funny position for them. When it's, I think, more solidified, that we go back to being like, oh, you can play whenever you want. Or whenever we want you to. Anyway, it's very different.
I mean, and that's the dynamic too, but these Koreans are full-time and their schedules are all still question marks on like when they prefer to play. Because some like there are some Koreans who will not wake up before noon. Just it's not going to happen. And I'm not talking our time. I'm talking their time. Like then there's some people who prefer to play in the morning, so they have the evenings free to do Pro League and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
it is funny.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. That's what the new Alima League time is going to help out a lot with too. They're going to be playing a little bit earlier in the day instead of later at night, so should be nice for them. Now, as far as scouting goes, a little bit awkward as the Overlords win all over the map, but they are going to ultimately find each other here in a moment. Lings from HyuN, just kind of roaming outside the base. Solar with this spine crawler down here, actually.
Apparently, chat is on a rampage. There are no mods.
There's always the bot.
Yeah, there's always the bot.
There's also sub mode too if it goes too crazy.
Right? Yeah.
Anyways, HyuN though, with these Lings, Solar really doesn't want him to scout this layer. In fact, that Queen should probably come back on the ramp and make sure this doesn't happen. That layer timing is a pretty big giveaway, and unfortunately it will be revealed. So, nice scout out of HyuN with slow Lings. Sees the layer coming. And of course, can probably guess about timing because he's a smart cookie. He does have his own layer coming, but he needed to scout his opponents. And Solar, unfortunately, is nowhere in position. Oh, I take that back. I guess some Lings got in and actually saw it.
Would you feel bad about eating a smart cookie?
I'm sorry, back up. What?
Would you feel bad about eating a smart cookie?
What is a smart cookie?
You just said that he's a smart cookie.
Oh, like literally. Like, I'm like, is this a cookie with a touch screen? Like, I don't understand. Like a smartphone?
Oh, right. I imagine it's like the muffin man or the gingerbread man. That's the one.
I think it depends on what my relationship with the cookie is. Because if I'm hungry and it's a stranger, I'm not sure I care. But all right.
Yeah, there's actually something very interesting happening.
Yes, it is a Nidus Network versus Aspire. Now, this is interesting for two reasons. One, with lots of queens coming at the other end, the anti-air aspect might not be so bad. But more importantly, the timing for HyuN. We discuss this so often, but the funny thing is with Aspire having been put off to the side trying to avoid being scouted, it might actually get killed as the first iteration of the attack.
Yeah, I like the idea of this like hidden Spire.
Oh, I do too. I think versus like who does Nidus Worms like this, right? Nobody. So drones are getting pulled. He's not undervaluing the attack, but there's going to be transfuses going off. So the drones go for attacks on the queens.
Yeah.
Misses transfuses because he was expecting to transfuse the Nidus Worm. So this attack doesn't go so hot, but the roaches pop out. Now the drones are starting to die, and this might get a little bit messy. GG gets called. HyuN gonna take game number 2.
Wow.
Also,
very
that went from 0 to 60 in a matter of a Nidus Worm building. I want to give a big shout out to Vahan Shaleha. I can't say that name. That's not going to happen. But thank you for subscribing. And if you want us to say your name, feel free to type it phonetically in chat. Actually, you know what we need to do? There's that site Vocaroo. We need to have people record themselves saying their own name and paste that in chat so we can say it correctly.
Can it be a thing that we decree your name is said this way according to like Google Translate or whatever?
Your name is now this way. Yeah.
Vahan Shlaya.
I would actually agree with that, and I'd go along with it if you buy like a little tiara or a crown as you like you have to wear as you declare somebody's name this new thing. But we're gonna go to a small commercial break, guys. 2 minutes. We'll be back with game 3. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Alright, welcome back. Just loading into the game really quick. If you're just tuning in for whatever crazy reason, it is, of course, game number 3. I gotta unmute sounds. And currently leading 2-0, spawning in the upper left side of the map is going to be the Red Zerg player, HyuN.
In the bottom right, as the Blue Zerg, he is Solar.
And to answer the question in chat, will the Snoot game be streamed here? Oh, absolutely. We're the only stream for this, and we're playing all the matches out, guys. So, best of 5s all over.
You should just told him no the other stream.
No, it's going to be the other English stream, the Trade Base guys. Vagrant Story. Thank you for the 5 months. Sniped, wrecked.
You.
It's the equivalent of a caster kill steal.
Okay, so HyuN is going for an early pull again.
Yes. I don't blame him being up 2-0. I mean, this would be one of the things you try and finish your opponent off with.
Yeah, I don't know if HyuN is surprised he's up 2-0. I feel like he is, not because he's like, oh, Solar's such a good player, which he might be, I don't know. But more because of the games, right? Like, they both ended so quickly, and that last one was really abrupt. That you're kind of like, you find yourself in a position of game 3, you're just like, oh, I'm in like a pretty good position. Yeah, new
So-
number one.
I feel like Korea also may have a small hint of the like opposite of North America. I want to point out HyuN Drone Scouter again. This is so weird. No one does this. But if you remember in North America for a while, between Pili Pili,
Whoa,
Huck, and
Oh, I love this drone scout actually. Okay, go on. Sorry.
well, I was just gonna quickly remark like between Pili Pili, Puck, and Neeb, the problem was like a lot of these matches came down to PvPs for a while, and because of that, like you're like, do they even know how to play the other matchups? Now for ZvZ is kind of the opposite, where you're like, oh, all the Zergs get knocked out, so they don't have to fight each other. Do they know how to play this? So, you were remarking that you really like this drone scout. Why?
Oh, well, I thought that HyuN's gonna do something different, first of all, but I still think it's a cool idea. So I remarked earlier with the drone scout on the 5th base, or the 5th map, New Gettysburg versus Snoot.
Yeah.
Like, you see a drone scout, you kind of almost assume that they are going for something, like, not an early pool, right? Like, why would they waste a drone when they already have so few drones? Unless they're gonna build a spine crawler, which I think he was very aware of could happen. But it didn't happen, and HyuN didn't really utilize that early pool. I feel like almost I'm crazy, like he didn't actually go for one, and I don't know what happened.
Maybe he did this and then realized like, with the scout that it wasn't quite what he was hoping for.
Yeah,
in opener.
I think that is what happened. So that's a very awkward thing, though. Like he doesn't seem to be that far behind because of it.
Well, no, you
I just
say
had
that,
to
but
read
look at the income graph. I mean, this tells a completely
Yeah,
different
yeah.
story for the last 3 minutes.
It's true. Yeah. The income graph is definitely very important here because the numbers don't really look that bad. I mean, 4 army supply down, like, but like soon enough, it will be obvious that like, okay, you did sacrifice something and you had to change your mind, and that's probably not the best thing in the world.
People asking for the Spotify playlists and the music we're playing. I guess during the last ad break, I played Moving On, and all the music I play is from Monster Cat because their licensing is cheap and we don't have to worry about getting muted.
Woo!
Woo! So anyways, yeah, most of the music is on Monster Cat. Last one's called Moving On, since I guess a lot of people liked that one exceptionally, but also that means a lot of people didn't see ads. It feels bad, man.
Well,
This is why we have to take on shady sponsors, guys.
Oh,
If y'all would just... Oh, we're not going that direction today? Okay.
Yeah, right.
Quick shout
All right,
out
so-
to Ting, who's not shady in any way, but they're friggin' awesome.
7 army supply.
Oh, that Bailey Pop was so good!
Crap.
Go on, use the 7 supply.
7 army supply wasn't that bad, but when I was going to talk about when you guys realize the potential here, and then that happens, so never mind.
Yeah, also really dangerous for Solar to be up on the front line with the Overlords like this.
Yes, but he is in that control point, right? Where okay, if he ever leaves, then it might be a mistake, but he's not quite left yet. Going for a very quick lair though. Gets a scout in here. Sees the Roach Warren, which is a little. I guess I didn't want to wait to put that down. But this could look a lot like last game. Like it'd be very funny. Of course, HyuN doesn't have very good scouting. All he sees right now is that there's no 3rd base, which I like. Is like. Okay, it should be coming down around this time, I guess, if you're not going for a lair, but soon enough he'll be like, okay, what's going on? And maybe he will scout, or maybe he realizes it's a lair. But if he does, and he thinks it's going to be a spire, we could have that abrupt end to a game, right? Like, maybe not a Nidus Room again, because, of course, HyuN doesn't have a lair, but a Roach attack that Solar can't defend against. And Solar is the one down 2-0.
Nice scout by that lane, too, to recognize that it will be Roaches. He throws on 2 spine crawlers, 3 spine crawlers right now, and I think this may be a little bit in anticipation of the banelings, but this will also help versus the Roaches, which he is, quite frankly, not aptly prepared for. Banelings will not make it to the mineral line, unfortunately, so no follow-up with that one that goes off. But 2 more spines coming down as he decides to go for a Spire. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of saw the Spire, and I think HyuN did too, right? He sees the lack of a 3rd base still, so he's got to be like, okay, what are you doing? And then he saw the Spine Crawlers.
I think 3 spine
Which
crawlers
is
is probably
like-
the bigger giveaway in this.
Yeah, like, just like, oh, okay, yeah, you're definitely going for a Spire. I think he wanted to attack with the Roaches and maybe even all in, but once he saw that Solar was prepared for it, he was kind of like, maybe this all in won't work. Because he was building a lot of Roaches, but then went back into droning when that scout came down.
I almost wish he would take the Horror approach, just go for the big Baneling attack with this. If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, Horror would do this thing where he expected people to have 5 spine crawlers down, so he'd just 2 base all in with lots of Roaches, but very intently make Banelings specifically for the spine crawlers and not for the Lings. And if that was the case, I think HyuN would break through this very easily, but the fact that he kind of waned even a little bit, the fact that he's coming back home now, he's lost his timing. There's actually no way to hit Solar now before the mutas are good to go. And in fact, Things are getting a little bit messy for HyuN at home.
Yeah. The lings are cleaned up, but it's a very difficult game in general, I think, for HyuN right here. Like, he did that early pool that he kind of changed his mind with, so I don't think that set him up too well. And then he probably wanted to not let mutas happen. Now he's forced to let mutas happen, and dealing with mutas is very frustrating. You know, and on top of that, he can't get the third down, which you really, by the time mutas are out, you would at least have the third down with creep spread is, I think, the best scenario possible, because you need those spore crawlers, the queens can get over there. The fact that it's not done, not anywhere near done, just doesn't, like, bode well, I guess, for its future, either. Just constantly getting sniped off. So the game, I think, is really in control of Solar here. And I was going to ask, like, what he's going to do with it, but he's not going to go full on mutas. He's going to transfer over into his own roaches.
Well, Infestation Pit coming up gives them the potential to deal with this later, but there's no Spore Crawlers covering it. There's hardly enough Queens out. The third base is certainly questionable at best. I mean, this is a tough spot for HyuN. And unfortunately, he doesn't have the transfuses. He doesn't have the numbers. Spore Crawler 1 is about to finally finish, but GG is probably the better course of action here.
That, like, confirms, like, the whole, like, okay, this game is not going my way. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah. So, Solar puts a point on the board. Really glad to see he's not going to go down 3-0. Not to say HyuN's not a good player. He's proven that he can play ZvZ, but man, Solar to already have lost 2 games is not what I would have expected.
No, but they were very odd, fast games, you know? Like, it would have really sucked to go on 3-0 in, like, the span of 20 minutes. But then also, it's like, okay, if I can bring it back once, then those 2 games could just be an outlier. Get in here.
So, one of the nice things about casting this long is I didn't charge my phone correctly last night. So, if I had gone out Pokemon hunting this morning, I wouldn't have been able to do it for long. Now, I'll be able to do it for a good 4 hours.
The benefits for me is that nothing.
Yeah, here's Rifkin's game plan for the day, right? We're gonna hop in and get his work. Rifkin's game plan for the day: finish the cast, nap for a couple hours, play the rebroadcast, go Pokemon hunting, have a great day. I really can't express. It almost feels like when you meet those people at tournaments that you don't know, they don't really care that you're somebody or not. You just have, like, a good time talking about common interests, you know? Like, I really have been enjoying that with Pokemon Go.
I don't talk to plebs.
Okay, well, maybe you don't, but I do. And yesterday was really fun. Like, I've been... I guess because it wasn't officially out in Canada, there wasn't a lot of people playing. But yesterday, I taught, like, 5 different strangers how to fight a gym. I convinced 2 people to join Team Valor. I don't know.
You're the oldest senpai who's, like, maybe a little creepy, but...
Well, anyways, my favorite moment was at 11 p.m. or whenever I was getting home, because we were on a Skype call really late last night, right?
Yeah.
Just before going to the cemetery, I had met a guy who I'd been kind of rivaling this gym with for a while. It's kind of cool to meet him in person instead of just seeing the name and the Vaporeon and all that. Anyways, I love Pokemon Go, guys. Spawning in the bottom right side of New Gettysburg, he is up 2-1 in this best of 5. It's the losers match. It's HyuN.
In the bottom left, as the Blue Zerg, he is Solar.
And I guess we haven't put a lot of emphasis on that, but I want to remind everybody that, yeah, with this being the losers match, one of these 2 are going to be knocked out of the tournament. They won't get to see any prize money. They won't get to see the round of 8s.
No, not.
We are really close to the, by the way, I just want to point out, today's the last group, and by the end of today, we should know the full round of 8s. And, of course, just by making it to the round of 8, players are going to have qualified for money. We upped the prize pool. I think it was 100 last season. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's 250 for making the round of 8 this season. Or 200. It's 2-something.
250, I think, is right.
Yeah. So I was really glad that we could get players the money spread out a little bit more. It puts a lot... it takes a little bit away from the finals, maybe, but there's still a lot of money on the line, which is nice. $5,000 in total in this tournament, provided by Ting.
Yeah. They reminded me, though, when I made a joke about the plebs, and it wasn't serious. But yeah, I was talking about giveaways. I forgot that I had this Carbod Zergling that I got everyone to sign for the stream. So I should probably, I don't know, think of a way to give that away to you guys. I'm sure most of you would just say give it to me because you like me, and that's not true. So just don't say that. But come up with a good way for me to give it away, because it's a pretty cool Zergling, I guess. It's all cute.
Maybe tie it in with like new subs during the finals or something.
Like new subs or participate in a raffle. Can you do that? I'm always so Twitch rules are.
I think it's just the rules are straight up. You can't donate for it, but you could be like anyone who subs today would be entered in.
Yeah, I feel like you can give subs more tickets or something like that. Whatever. I'll figure it out.
I mean, I wouldn't want to punish resubs either, so I don't know. That'd be hard. We'll talk about that off stream. We'll figure it out. We'll find something fun. Also, quick reminder: the Amazon gift card giveaway for the Twitch clips still hasn't gone out. So if you did enter the Twitch clips, don't worry, you still have a chance to win. We still have to talk with Jesse and get that stuff sorted. So we got lots of stuff to still come, and you guys who've already entered that one giveaway still have a chance to win. I don't want to make anyone think like, I submitted Twitch clips like a month ago, and I guess they forgot about it. No, we haven't. We've just been quite busy.
Yeah. Oh, what does this game turn into? I was paying attention. Okay, so roaches for HyuN. They both have speed, and okay, there are Solar's roaches as well. But so I guess anticipating maybe a bit of a Baneling war, doesn't actually end up using them at all. Just means it's a bit late to the roaches. And HyuN, you know, we saw in the last best of 5, he's just been a very aggressive player. And Solar is watching, which I don't know if he was. I don't think he was. He would know that and be a little more prepared for it, but. HyuN is prepping for an attack. Solar's Roach Horn will be done. It's just a matter of scouting it, and his Overlord does see the roaches moving across that bridge.
Well, this is a good comment too. I like the roaches for this reason a lot. Like, if there was going to be Banelings in any capacity, the bridge control for the roaches is going to be huge. But as you can see, the problem is if you do step a little too far out, then you don't have anything at home, and now these Lings run by, and HyuN is a little bit out of position. Is he going to lose much for it? Not really, but the potential was there. I guess that's the dangers of New Gettysburg. It is quite a large map, and that's where speedy units might be a little bit more favorable in some scenarios.
Sure. Well, that's pretty important to make HyuN a little afraid, but HyuN is going to go through with this attack. I mean, he's got the Banelings on the way. He's not droning. He's just saving up his minerals. There you go, 18 Lings on the way now. And well, Solar might be like, okay, maybe he's not attacking me, like safe to drone. It's a lie, okay? And Solar could be. Again, he's down the game, man. He's like, this is match point for him. He doesn't anticipate an all-in coming. He sees just now they are moving out again, and he might be like, oh shit. And he might not be able to prepare. He does have the same tech options, which is great, right? He's not missing a Baneling nest or anything, but...
I was wondering if he's just going to yield the base, but he does segment some units to defend it while he continues with the attack. This is the problem, though. Coming out of this choke into roaches... And backing up is not going to be much of a better solution either. Oh, for Solar, I mean, holding the gap in this choke is probably his best bet.
I like those Lings.
Yeah, I like that Ling kind of getting through the front, but now the Baneling's choked in the back. They're going to try and get out front now. This is still for HyuN quite a bit of units and quite a bit of dedication. Defender's advantage might go to Solar. We're waiting to see those Banelings pop. The Lings on top of the roaches. There's no Banelings over here. They get us surrounded in a hold position. This now means that Solar, he's in some trouble.
I really thought it was going to go a lot better for Solar. He bought so much time, he had an even army supply, and he had so many drones to lose, but his lack of Banelings and that Ling surround really hurt.
Well, HyuN might still get pushed back.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem, though, right? HyuN, it's not that he got slaughtered. He never made a lot of drones in the first place, so this is a really dedicated attack that has to do damage, and it hasn't really yet. It's traded out army for army, and he's turning out behind for it.
Yeah, and he is behind. He's actually going to lose this game. I don't think there's a way he recovers now. Behind in drones, behind in army.
You can buy a lot of time in this choke, but the thing is the ranged roaches are going to win out for Solar every time. So, yeah, he's just got to back the hell away.
Yeah, I don't think there's much for him to do. I mean, he could try and play a macro game, right, and hope that time covers the difference here. But he looked like he was about to, but I guess thankfully for Solar, right, who again is the one that could lose the entire series right here, he had that defender's advantage, and he had the roaches coming out just in time.
I just had a really cool idea how you could do the Zergling giveaway.
Okay.
So you do an open tournament to all subscribers, right?
Okay.
Take the top 4 or maybe 8 or whatever number you're happy with and have a free-for-all. We cast that free-for-all. Winner gets the signed plushie.
I'd be down.
I think it'd be a lot of fun, too, because it'd be terrible, but I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of things with our subs. I sometimes feel really bad about that.
I know. Sometimes I mean, the thing is, before, let's be honest, we were casting a lot. This month we got a bit more free time. Or, excuse me, August. we're gonna have a little more free time. So
Yeah. All right, so HyuN holds. That was a pretty important moment because Solar is ahead in every single way, but it was like that. You know, he wasn't. It wasn't like he was 20 supply up, so it's not too surprising HyuN holds. It is important. Solar, however, you know, he got a lair. He's getting road to speed now. He's gonna get to upgrades faster, and he is going to be ahead in this game for a very long time. And there's not many options for HyuN to come back here. This is where News Gettysburg is kind of like, it can be a problem. You can't go through the bridge, and ideally, Overlord coverage, you can't sneak attack up to the north.
no. What's interesting though is I like that Solar didn't reach too far too early. We kind of saw that already once today, and we maybe will see it again with the potential of ZvZs here, right? But if you try too hard to kill your Zerg opponent and you just barely can't break them, you're gonna waste 10 minutes, slowly, possibly even losing the game, depending on how badly your attacks go. Defender advantage is very real. Solar instead decided to bulk up. He's up a lot. He's up a hell of a lot of drones. He's really just extending his lead, and he's setting himself up for a better spot than slowly, like roach by roach, barely maybe killing HyuN.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you're on your last life too, I like the safer playstyle a lot more. It looks a bit silly, of course, because we're kind of like, why didn't you just finish him? It was so easy. You had more units, but not always the case.
Yeah.
It certainly will be, though. And he knocked down the rocks, too, so it's going to be really easy for him to get across the map, or at least one set of the rocks. Ling set up for a counterattack, too, so if HyuN pushes out, you know, watch tower control, he sees him moving. Ling's might just go right to that third.
Mm-hmm. This... I don't know how HyuN would ever... For each counterattack he has set up, like, there goes Solar's, so HyuN's Lings might have been a little scary. Solar's army's back at home anyway. And HyuN, I could see him tapping out as lamely as he did last game. He's like, oh, okay, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
It looks like he's gonna take a fight at least.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many roaches. Even if they eat those corrosive bottles, which he doesn't, there's just not the damage for it. So GG. We're going to another ace match. HyuN is the guy who likes his game number 5s.
Yes, he does.
And of course, last time we saw that game 5, it didn't go well for him, however. We'll see if it gets flipped around or if maybe Solar has made the most ultimate comeback from the 0-2. Either way, we're going to go to a small commercial break before we get to this game 5. So stick around, guys. We'll see you soon. Alright, welcome back, guys. We're loading into game number 5, going to Galactic Process. Ian, sorry for the slightly longer break there. I lost track of time. I was shitposting on Twitter to Artosis. Feels good, man. This is Artosis' mistake. By having me follow him on Twitter, now I can see what he tweets, and it's more of an option for me to reply with stupid things. I know Mr. Korthal in chat was requesting we do a video talking about the summit.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest story I would talk about is the drama between me and Artosis. Shit got real.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about very general things. Like, yeah, we appreciated some things and some not things. But it'd be like, yeah, just mostly about like stories otherwise.
Alright, well, it's game number 5, the decider match here in the Losers Series. One of these two players is about to be sent home. We're going to find out which. Thanks to TING for sponsoring this. In the top right side of Galactic Process, though, we've got the red Zerg player. He's old school. It's HyuN.
The bottom left as the blue Zerg, the Solar.
You know, it's a bit silly to say this, but Solar's the player that I wish Impact had become. If that makes sense in a way.
Huh. Yes, I think I know where you're going with that.
That's gotta be a cancel, right? HyuN, don't take a second guess. What do you... So anyways, it's...
Whoa.
But why? You had an Overlord. Why can't... I don't understand why
What?
you did it like that. For the Queen, like 1 second, I guess?
I thought he had supply without the Spore Crawler. I was looking right at it, but I'm also kind of delusional, so I...
Well, that's why I was asking about the gas. Like, why did he have to build cancel that? I was like, what build is this? But...
I thought he was bringing back the Spore Crawler, you know? Like, oh, then I was gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. But now it makes no sense. I have no idea. Okay, whatever. Point is, this is occurring, and Solar will not be able to scout it. No, he's not gonna go through the middle of the map.
Ooh,
so
okay.
It's still gonna be only scouted when Solar's Overlord hits the base.
So there's an interesting dynamic to where I think the Ling fights actually will gain no advantage for the map. For those who don't know what I mean, over here there's a sort of sneak attack you can take in up this ramp and walk into your opponent's natural instead of going through the front, which other matchups could be walled off. But when it comes to ZvZ, you're usually fighting around this ramp, and you're usually choked in around here. So this map, being as weird as it is, won't actually have that big of a bearing as it sometimes normally does. But the Lings appear to so far have not been scouted. Solar does start a spine crawler, but I want to point out he was doing this and canceling it and then building it again in the previous series, so or previous games, excuse me. So this might just be something he does out of paranoia of not knowing what his opponent does, having not scouted yet. But now that he knows that there's no natural base, he may just follow through at the spine as a question of necessity.
Yeah, especially because it's still no hatchery. You know, like there's a timing for the no gas early pool and then the gas early pool. So that spine collar should definitely finish, and it is, and that's certainly going to be helpful. A bit of a SimCity run too is definitely going to help. It was one of the problems on that Frozen Temple.
I don't know. The problem though is putting that Bailey nest out in the front lines. That's a perhaps get picked.
Yeah. I mean the Banelings can actually explode on both.
Yep.
So.
Goes through a surround on this. Gets the spine crawler by the looks of it. Couple transfuses going in, but a couple Banelings also going in. Not enough Lings left over, perhaps. He will get one of the queens.
Yeah, that queen could have been a better.
Oh, what?
Hey, what the? Hey, she saved! Save the queen!
Opportunity knocks. Bailey takes out the Lings on the ramp. I'm not sure what that was. GG.
So he just taps out. Wait a minute, was he gonna kill an Overlord? Oh, I'll never know.
I mean, he was 3 queens. I think HyuN knew that wasn't gonna work. A little bit sad to see HyuN go down like that because he is. I love him.
Reversed. He's up 2-0.
Completely turned around. So congrats to Solar. He'll live to go on to the finals of the group where he'll play either Snoot or BaseTradeTV. But for us, we now take adventures over to the North American server. We'll meet up with BaseTradeTV and Snoot to play a ZvZ winners match. Sorry, I got a little bit confused because of the double subs, double subs coming in. No, it was triple.
Triple, yeah.
Yeah, it just looked weird because my scroller. So thank you to a live game subs for 2 months. It says song ? Last song played was Stronger. That's the name of it. Ulian subs for 8 months. It says thank you for 8 great months. Thank you, Ulian, for joining us for those 8 months. And ECSM for 18 months. Thank you guys all for resubbing. We're going to go to a commercial break, though. Once again, these are going to be words from our sponsors of the event for TING. And we'll see you guys in a moment as I try to cue this up correctly. Ooh, there we go. There's Kyra's beautiful face. All right, we'll see you guys soon.